Chronicles of Hope is essential reading for seekers of inspiration and spiritual empowerment. This series offers nourishment for those on a path of increased awareness at this challenging time. Inspired by higher sources of wisdom, Chronicles of Hope delivers messages to lift your spirit with a roadmap of hope and guidelines for living a life of expanded consciousness. The guides offer powerful insight for mental, emotional, and spiritual growth at this critical tipping point for humanity. The message is clear. We must change. We have the power to raise our vibrational energy individually and collectively before it's too late. I am Lois Herman, author of the best-selling Chronicles of Hope series and host of the Inspiring Hope radio show at WSMN.live or 95.3 FM. You can find me at loisherman.com or chroniclesofhope.net.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Good morning and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages and celebrate people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on truth, honesty, and integrity, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. And I hope you're inspired by today's show. And today I have my question for the day. I always like to lead with a question. Are you able to connect with the divine? Through prayer, meditation, or peaceful thinking, do you realize you have amazing guides of what I call the collective who are always there waiting to assist? Be they angels, ascended masters, beloved family members in the light, they're ever waiting for us to ask. By asking, we gain advice, guidance, and insight on day-to-day events. Nothing is too small or too big to ask about. And having discovered the habit of asking over the years, in my current meditations, I now see, sense, and hear from a glowing group of gentle guides who appear as tall, white light beings. They communicate with me, share guidance, assistance, assurance, and protection. Demonstrating the importance of being one collective energy, they invite me to use discernment throughout my day, and especially while gathering together in groups. We can be different and unique individuals, yet we must be of similar spiritual natures who truly support, respect, and honor each other when we gather together. Lightworkers are being called to work together with matching energies, and we're supposed to be embracing one another without bias or conflict as we celebrate each person's unique gifts, interests, and personalities. Over time, our Team Hope evolved into a Lightworker Alliance that embodies the pure energy of unity. Our gatherings involve traveling spiritually together on journeys to clear the darkness across the planet and bring light to those in need. It's been my honor and privilege to work with this diverse team of people who are dedicated to assist in bringing hope to our troubled world. The variety of personalities affords colorful insight that might escape what one or two might consider alone. Yet we have learned the value of teamwork, of gratitude, of prayer, of clearing negative energy, staying protected, and listening with our hearts and minds for truth with love. as we persevered with persistence and determination to honor our commitment to share the messages we've received with the world through the Chronicles of Hope series, our enthusiasm, coupled with the importance of implementing those clearing exercises that the wise ones taught us, and embrace daily spiritual hygiene as a standard practice, was critical to being of service. We are ever grateful for Archangel Michael and his kin for sensing his presence in our lives on a daily basis. Thank you, dear guide, for your encouragement, your support, and your heartfelt love as you connect with us and each other on this journey. So save the date. August 4, Book 3, The Archangels will be ready to be introduced to the world. Save the date, August 4th. Today, we're going to be speaking with an amazing medium who shares her story about connecting with the divine as she offers messages for herself and others. In a moment, Diane Hebenstreit from the Love and Light Spiritualist Church will join us. We'll welcome her advice on how to connect with the divine to carry us along our paths. Meanwhile, let's listen to a song that she loves from El Moira. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN.live or 95.3 FM. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, and subscribe to our Lois Herman Associates YouTube channel or sign up for our newsletter at loisherman.com. And be sure to join our community at chroniclesofhope.net. And so today we've got Diane on the phone. Diane, are you there?
Good morning, Lois. Yes.
Good morning, and welcome. I'm interested in learning about you, but first, this was a song that you selected from El Moira. This is his keynote meditation. Can you make sure you weave in and tell us about El Moira at some point?
Sure.
So,
yes, El Moira is one of my main guides.
Yeah.
And he is an ascended master. He had actually several lifetimes. I believe its most recent was in Darling, India. And he's associated with God's will,
Okay.
the will of God. And his color is blue. He's a very loving, kind of disciplined guide.
And blue is the throat chakra, which is the communication color, correct?
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I again, more questions. But let's start with you. Tell us about you. Diane is a medium. If those of you who haven't heard it, you really need to check out the channeled session that she did for us on the summer solstice, June 21st. That got real loud. Anyway, she did a beautiful, beautiful channeled session. That's how I met her. So I don't know a whole lot about her other than that she did a beautiful job. So definitely that's on the website. You can find it in the news or just in the blog section. But tell us about yourself, Diane. How on earth did you get involved in medium work?
Well, I joined a spiritualist church in the 90s, and that was my first teacher. And I was in a ministry program with her for 3 years before she passed. She died. But she was teaching she was teaching mediumship, she was teaching Kabbalah, she was teaching a variety of subjects. And she called her, I guess she called it Ancient Ways Mystery School.
Okay.
And so she was teaching mystery school teachings. And it's really sparked an interest or a remembrance in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you asked me in the past what was the difference between psychic and mediumship.
Mm-hmm.
And I've developed that discernment over the time because I realized I went to college in the 70s when ESP was something new, brand new.
Extrasensory perception, ESP.
Extrasensory perception, which we all have our six, what are they, five senses, or they call it the sixth sense.
Right.
But each one of our senses has an extension. You know, clairvoyance is probably the most recognized because that's clear vision, you know, where you see images, or clairsentient, you know, where you're feeling, or claircognizant, when you just know something. They're called the clairs.
Right.
And that is ESP and psychic. And psychics are, you know, are very discerning. They can see things in the past or the present, or do readings. The difference between a psychic and a medium is that a medium can connect with non-physical beings, can communicate with them. I think most commonly it's the departed loved ones, but we're also able to communicate with angels, archangels, ascended masters, other beings that are non-physical. And some people will call that make a distinguish between mediumship and channeling. But to me, it seems very similar. You know, it's like communicating with non-physical beings. And I always shield, as you do, and protect, and ask for, you know, the highest light I can receive. And that's how that channeling came about, being contacted by they call themselves the highest council of light.
And I wanted to elaborate on what you said a minute ago about the difference between mediumship and channeling, because I've been involved with both for many years. And what my perception is when you are channeling, the being, the entity, the energy comes into you and speaks through you, which is what Gary was doing in the book series. And then I've had other times when I'm working with a client or one of my consultants that if I'm dealing with an entity or an energy, and it will come into the person and speak through the person. That is channeling, versus mediumship is they're sitting in that chair over there and you're communicating with them. You're in your mind. You're able to communicate. You're able to say what they're thinking, what they're saying. So you're being a communicating device, but they have not taken over your body. So to me, that's the discernment. When a being steps in and takes over your body, sometimes you don't remember what is said because it takes over. But as a medium, you can relay their information, and you are staying in your sovereign self. They're not taking over your body. Does that resonate with you?
That's a very good distinction, Lois, and that puts me definitely in the medium camp.
Yes.
Because when I am working, I am very relaxed, and it's not really my conscious mind. I'm very relaxed, and I listen, I receive, and then I communicate to you what I heard telepathically.
Correct.
And that's how I am comfortable working.
Correct. And that's the safest way to work, unless you have a spotter.
Yeah.
Unless you have someone who's going to be holding your energy and making sure that you come back. That whoever has stepped in for that moment of time has completely stepped out. And before we go down that path a little further, I want to back up, because your background is very interesting to me. You're not one of these people that was born a medium. You've got an MBA in clothing, textiles, and interior design, right? I mean, you're retired after 30 years as a software developer. You're not. This was not something that was born in you. What can you tell us a little bit more about your growing up background, or your corporate pre-retirement background?
Well, I have 30 plus years as a software developer, working as a business analyst, a project leader, and at times a coder. That's how I had started out. And prior to that, I completed my Bachelor of Science in Clothing, Textiles, and Interior Design, and then got my Master's in Business Association. Really started off full-time and then finished nights because I got the job programming. And at Christmas time, that was very helpful. But it was during my college years that I took a psychic development course. Like I said, ESP was very new, and I took a psychic development course. And that's when I became aware of these abilities. But I think we're all born with them.
Yes.
But it was by taking that class and doing different exercises that, with psychometry, taking an object and out of a bag and trying to tell who it belongs to and something about that person. With all those little, they had cards. You're trying to guess the color or shape of the object on the card. They have little tests for ESP. And, they have a normal range and a higher than normal range. But so that tells me everybody has some. And what really, part of it was to give a reading to someone, and that I'm going to say really opened my eyes, because I did a reading with somebody I didn't know, and I just saw like images of his family, his sister, and even medical conditions, because I saw a cloud over her eyes. I saw, he lived on Cape Cod. I didn't know that. I saw him in a Volkswagen with surfboard, and I saw laying next to him on a blanket his girlfriend. So that was a big aha moment for me. I became aware of these abilities.
Right.
And still, I didn't do a lot with them at that time. It was later on, late 80s, when I connected with my teacher, and it rekindled my interest. Right. I'm going to say that. And this was better because, she was bishop of the churches of Connecticut, and it was in a more spiritual setting. So it was a much safer environment to develop in. But I do believe that everybody has these abilities, and it's developing them, taking courses, practicing, makes a big difference. Yes. It gives you confidence.
And the more you practice anything, the better you get at it. And so you can develop it. I know a lot of the consultants that I work with have developed incredible skills over time that they didn't realize they had, and yet looking back, they were always there. They just needed to be dusted off and polished up a little bit. So everybody does have the ability to tap in and to be aware and communicate. They just have to have the intention and the ability to work at it a little bit. It's not just some people it's like some people could sit down at a piano and play, and others need to take some lessons and really practice. So some people have innate ability, and other people have to kind of work at it a little bit. But we can all get to a level of awareness as long as we put our mind to it.
Yes, and even people that are not really interested in all of this, they still believe in intuition, in the gut feeling. So, but it is getting together with people of like mind and taking. I believe in taking classes and really to enhance your skills.
And being together with others of like mind also accelerates each of our journey, because we affirm one another, we hold space for one another, we're here to protect and encourage one another. And that came through very strongly in the Chronicles messages, that surround yourself with others of like mind so that you can raise your energy, and then you can extend a hand to others and help them. But you've got to have a community, a unity community that supports one another, which I'm sure is part of what the Love and Light Spiritualist Church is about.
Yes, it is. But that's lovely. I can't wait. August 4th, right? The new one is coming out?
Yes, and the first one is on its way to you already.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, you woke up with a message on was it the 7th? That so you've been developing your skills, and at the church we had Reverend Shirley on Sunday telling us about the church. So you would, as a speaker at the church, you would actually get messages for other people. So you've been getting messages for others for a little while now. Is that right?
Oh yes, for quite some time.
Yeah.
Because I've been really doing that since the 90s.
Wow.
Because I was in a ministry program at that time. And I later became an interfaith minister. And before I came to the Spiritualist Church of Love and Light, I did work at another church in Connecticut. So speaking, giving the sermon and giving the messages, that's something I've done for many years now.
Wow. And yet you got a message that you needed to get a message to humanity.
Yes. This was early morning, and I was meditating. I became aware of a lot of energy coming down through my crown chakra. They were connecting with me, and they told me that they had that this solstice was going to be significant, and they had a very important message for me to deliver at the exact moment of the summer solstice. And I actually wrote down, I recorded a lot of that message, but they said the solstice is going to be important, significant. We have something to tell you. We're coming to you from the other side to issue a warning. You must have great faith, more faith than you've ever had in your life. They're going to come through you to deliver a message, just at the point where the solstice is exact. Stop everything and meditate with us. Deliver the word of the Christ. You don't need an audience. Just be receptive and deliver the word of the Christ. We will tell you what to do. It will be a message of peace we will deliver unto you. This is from the highest council of light, a message. We're glad that you're receiving us. We have something to foretell of great importance. Have faith and deliver exactly as spoken, as received. Your consciousness is ready to do the work of the Christ on a greater scale. They will be drawn to you and put your shield around to protect you from the crowds.
Mm-hmm.
So it was brief, but it really made me feel this message wasn't just for me. This message was meant to be shared.
Right.
And then, I guess on June 10th, and that was still before I contacted Shirley, I wanted to know more about them. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was able to connect again, and again, I find speaking into the recorder on my phone a lot easier than taking notes or typing.
That's a great idea.
So,
yeah, and that's a lot of what I did when these ones came through Gary and said, we need your help to get a message to humanity. I can totally relate, and that's what I did. I turned a simple recording app on my phone and initially recorded the sessions that way. So,
yeah, it is much better. And then, even though I remembered it, when I went back again to transcribe it, I go, wow.
Yeah.
So if it's okay with you, I'm going to read that too.
Please do, because I can relate to that as well. So being in the moment is one level of awareness, and then when you go back and transcribe it, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even catch that at the time. And that's part of my excitement about getting these books out there, is knowing that, okay, wow, how pertinent is this to now? And then listening to the messages that you're getting is just so reaffirming. It is so beautiful. So share with us what you received on June 10th when you were asking about them.
Okay, my question was, Higher Council of Light, tell me something more about you. And their response was, we are a collective from the higher mind throughout the galaxy. You are individualized, but you are also much more than that. It's like going up a stairway step by step, or you can fly. We prefer the direct route. We want to bring you some enlightening messages to help you with your ascension. You've been very sweet for accommodating us in this way. We're grateful. And my response was, I'm grateful to you for giving me this opportunity, which I am. And then their response was, we want you to know that all can be undone or do over. If you find yourself in a fix or a jam, do it again. Do it a different way. We are happy to counsel you how to reconstruct. Put the pieces back together again in a different way. While this could be your life situations on Earth can get tricky. Sometimes you need help, and you know you need to ask. We are more than willing to counsel you. We're a collective of infinite intelligence, individualized entities that have unity consciousness. The group is aware of the thoughts of others, of the thoughts of the God mind. The group is aware there is no separation. Unity means there is no separation. It's not hard to figure out when you act as one there is unity. There are different pieces, but our minds blend. When we raise our thoughts up to the highest and purest, it's vibration. Raising vibration that causes one to ascend. And in unity, the ascended masters can influence divine thoughts in mankind if you're open to it. We are most grateful that you're allowing us to communicate in this way. And then I asked them, are you of the light? And the response was, most certainly, of the highest light possible. We are the higher minds of mankind, and eventually we will have within us the highest minds available to humanity. Don't forget heart. We are also unified in love. Love is the glue. Our love serves mankind to help you to raise your vibrations so you can communicate more effectively with higher mind. Consciousness can ascend to the realms of higher thought, like going up a stairway or elevator. Set the intention and away you go. In this realm, we bring you the messages of peace, love, harmony. These messages can spread throughout the universe, instilling the seed of unity. And I just thought that was lovely.
That is absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to actually segue into ask our board operator. Is she's so much more than she says. I'm the board operator. No, Jasmine is also a medium, and she is incredible. So I just wanted to invite her into this conversation. Jasmine, what do you think about that?
Hello. So I just listened to that that message, and I was just thinking to myself, there's a lot of like spirituality going around, or a lot of interest in spirituality at this time. I think that the pandemic brought that on to a lot of people, and it can be very easy to not really know what path to go down and not know the differences between, mediumship and, psychic abilities and channeling and all that stuff. And, sometimes it's good to hear a message like that one, because it just puts things into a better perspective, I guess. It gives you a little bit more hope and understanding that, you're not just talking to yourself or, meditating in silence or anything like that. It's, it's small steps in building a relationship with, that council of light in your life, right?
Exactly. It is about building a relationship. And that's why, Diane, you're able to ask the questions and receive the answers, because it's a relationship. They're beings.
Right. And I think that, even for like a newbie like me, I would say like even those thoughts of like there are beings that could potentially send those types of messages. And I just think to myself, it's just a matter of being open to having a relationship with, that council of light.
Being open to receive. And yes, you definitely need to hear. So you got this, Diane, on the 10th. And then that was when you reached out to Shirley and said, what do I do with this?
well, I guess that wasn't exactly it, but I did reach out and said, I received a message that I need to share.
Right.
And yes, I guess I did. I said, do you recommend how I can go about this?
Yes.
And when she heard collective, she thought of you, Lois.
Right, because the book too is the collective, and that's what they call themselves. Is that we are a collective of amazing beings, and what I thought was so precious when you do listen. Well, what happened is then Shirley reached out to me, and we set up a webinar, and I facilitated a webinar, and kind of held the space for Diane, because we're going to get into it in just a second, but I know the value of shielding, of protecting, so that you get pure energy, pure information coming through. I respect that you asked, are you of the light? Because there's a lot of imposters out there right now. But back to what you were talking about a second ago, Jasmine, what they said is, you are like our little brothers and sisters. And that just touched
and that's what
my
it felt
heart.
like. Yeah, I was like, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. They're here as our older, wiser, siblings. And we're just here in the human plane working with them. And we have to have that kind of a relationship, a very personal relationship with these amazing ones.
Yes. And they actually used those words on the solstice message. They actually did say that they are our older brothers and sisters, but they're reaching down to help us.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to.
Yes.
That's the thing. I mean, they're thanking me for receiving them.
Yeah, exactly.
And want me to ask more.
Right.
So
because it's in the asking that we get information, and even in the session work that I'm doing, I'm learning to ask more specific questions and getting more information. You don't. One of my amazing mentors had coached me that said the quality of the answers you receive is in direct proportion to the quality of the questions you ask. So that's exactly what you did, Diane, is you asked some specific questions to clarify who they are, what their intention was, before you just opened yourself up to receive the message, the very powerful and loving message that came through on the solstice.
Yes, well, that was my first time channeling publicly.
Mm.
And I needed to make sure just who I am, who I am doing this for.
Yes.
And before I am going to go out and, try to deliver the message to a larger community. And their answers exceeded my expectations. When I read that over,
Mm-hmm.
when they're saying the group, they're presenting themselves as a collective.
Yes.
But they are individual beings.
Mm-hmm.
But they want us to they want us to know of the unity.
Right.
So they are one with each other, and they are one with us.
One of our wonderful Team Hope members, she coined the phrase GOD, Group of Divine.
I like that.
Yes, they're a group of divine, because she kept really wrestling, and as many people do, with the concept of the white guy, the bearded white guy in the sky as God, and they're like, well, we are all one. We are a group of. You can call on any of us. We are here for you. So GOD, Group of Divine, and so she was like, oh, I can get my arms around that.
Right.
That's the God consciousness, right?
Yes.
So, one of the things.
But then on the 21st, and I know you have it, but it was a lovely message of peace.
Yes.
And of love, and it's saying the same thing you received: is surround yourself with people that uplift you.
Right.
People, places, and things.
Yes. And that
and
we are
to
one.
Remember that we are spirit.
Yeah. It was lovely. I've had several people reached out to me even after the recording, because a lot of people think, oh, you have to be there in person in order to feel the vibe. And I have to tell you, I felt an incredible vibrational shift come through me at listening and being a part of that. But I've had several people reach out to me after and said, oh my goodness, just re-listening to that shifted their energy. So if you need an energy boost or a reset, please, we invite you to re-listen to that message, because it was so lovingly powerful. And I want to just mention one little thing that we won't go into detail, but both Diane and I have had experiences with being open to the not so happy, healthy, wonderful beings to come through, which is why she was using such clear discernment. And one of the messages that I bring very strongly to anybody who dabbles, who is open, you must use discernment, because there are nefarious ones that will absolutely come through if you're unaware, and they're hard to shake. Once one of them takes steps in, They're very hard to shake. So you've got to practice protection, which is that's my big thing is you don't go out, side without a coat on in a snowstorm. You've got to keep your energy protected as you invite these beings in. Use discernment as Diane did. Who are you? Are you of the light? That is a powerfully clear, clean question, and you received a beautiful answer. So I just wanted to, if you don't have to share details, but you've had experience with the nefarious ones that will take advantage if you are too open. Correct?
Yes, and I always shield morning and night, and sometimes more frequently.
Yes.
And I really have to give credit to El Morye and these beings, Archangel Michael and his legions of light, because I called to them and they saved me.
Yes.
But we don't want to talk about the nasties. We want to talk about shielding.
I love that she calls them nasties, because that's what I call them. I don't want to give them the word demon, because that's like, that's too...
It's too heaven and hell for everybody,
Yeah, but they're just nasty. They're nasty. So
Yeah.
I love that that's the word that I had coined years ago, too. So we're such kindred spirits, and it's so, when you listen, and I really invite you to listen. I don't think we have time to actually read it was 11 minutes long, but there was a little bit of pre and post talk on the video. But if you'll see me, I'm sitting there nodding and smiling, grinning ear to ear as she's getting these channel messages. It's exactly what came through in the Archangel's book, almost verbatim. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And what they said is there are people getting similar messages that are touching different hearts. So it just is yet another sister.
Well, but that's a real confirmation for both of us.
Exactly.
Because that's a message they're trying to get out now.
Yes.
But I know when I was channeling, I'm so glad it can come through. But they were channeling peace and love through me while I was delivering the message. And they're saying that this message is going to affect you on many different levels.
Right.
And, I could feel their love coming right through me. Mm-hmm. So in that way, it is channeling. Even though they're not taking over, they are sending me light and love that does course through. And in fact, some of these beings, I'm not sure it would be safe for a human to let them. They are so high energy. I think they know how much my physical vehicle can withstand.
Correct.
Because it's very intense at times.
I have always said that, when you call on your angels, I was like, be prepared, because that's a whole different energy level.
That's right. Yeah.
When you ask the angels to intercede, because they're going to move so much more than you think.
Yeah. Because their energy vibration some of them is so high that they cannot incorporate. The archangels, the ones that are at that vibrational frequency level, they can be here, communicate with us, but they can't incorporate into a human body. And this is why Gary was kind of special, because he was a high energy being, and he had the ability for them to come in for short periods of time. We had to be very mindful of limiting the time. And Diane, I have to tell you that I believe that they did channel through you at that moment. And again, it was short. They could only stay for a period of time. But you had made your being so pure and were such an open and pure vessel that you did allow them. That, to me, was a channeled experience, because you said you didn't remember most of it afterwards, did you?
I remembered parts of it, but when I'm doing that, it's not like using my analytical conscious mind,
right.
which... But I was conscious of what I was saying.
Okay.
If ever there was something that didn't feel right to me,
okay,
I would vocalize question or
Mm-hmm.
or do something, because I am conscious.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
could put on the brakes,
Yeah.
But their energy comes through me,
Right.
like I do with healing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't mention all of the wonderful healings methodologies I'm trained in.
Yeah.
Karuna Reiki, Arcturian healing light, vortex divine energy healing, integrated energy healing. So as a healer, and I also do rebirthing, the Kesselbeck method,
Mm-hmm.
but as a healer, I channel the energy. I channel the healing energy through my body.
Right. Yes.
So they know they can do that, and they are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do send energy through me,
Mm-hmm.
but I am in control. I'm in control. I could
Yeah.
stop it.
You haven't stepped out. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe I step back a little bit.
Right. Yeah. You're.
But no, I haven't stepped back. Step back, kind of personality step back,
Mm-hmm.
so I can be a clear transmitter or message bearer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to use channel.
One of the
or
things
medium.
that Archangel Raphael said in the session that we had with him is that you are facilitators for healing. You've opened yourself to facilitate the healing to come through you, so that they are the ones that are really doing the work together with us. It's a team effort. So we're facilitating the healing because they can adjust or send the energy that is needed for that person. And when we become intuitive conduits for the healing energy, as I'm a Reiki master teacher as well, and I love the energy as Reiki comes through, and realize that it's amazing how we have an agreement to allow the facilitating for healing for this person. And you've got a lot of different energy backgrounds, which allows you to facilitate healing on many levels. And you're also being called to teach, is that right?
Yes. And I did ask, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
And I got the message that I was a healer and a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a very strong message that I am a teacher. It was, again, that nighttime, early morning,
Mm-hmm.
I'm most receptive.
Mm-hmm.
But on this occasion, light, golden light, started streaming out of my heart. And it filled the entire room with this brilliant golden light.
Wow.
And my heart spoke and said, "Do you want to teach?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Well, when I get a plate." And I said, "Do you want to teach?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah, it's a just say yes that gets us in trouble.
Just say yes.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yes.
it was lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No misunderstanding that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want clarity. And what do you suggest to others to stay upbeat and inspired? What do you recommend to people? There's so much fear and uncertainty and worry in our world today. What would you recommend?
Well, I don't let my mind go there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really observing my thoughts is a big part of a daily practice. If I catch myself thinking anything negative,
Mm-hmm.
I will say cancel and then affirm the positive opposite,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's true yet or not.
Right. Yes.
Because our thoughts and words and deeds create so much of our reality. if not all. And I do use protection and connect with the higher beings before bed, first thing in the morning.
You do your spiritual hygiene. That's what I call it.
Oh,
Yes.
well, I do. I mean, my meditation practice is basically at night and in the morning, and and doing the surrounding myself with light, even in these messages, even if I didn't get it earlier, which I did.
Yeah.
And I do protect, but one night I fell asleep listening to, a recording, a meditation, and I must not have had enough protection. So, I'm very careful what recordings I listen to now.
Right.
If I'm likely to fall asleep while listening to it, and
it's very true.
And it's connecting. It's connecting with the higher beings. It's and connecting with uplifting people, places, things. But I'm so excited now, and I'm excited about your books too, because
thank you.
Now that this Council of Light they've contacted me.
Yeah.
I have to think there's going to be more.
Well, we ended up connecting as a result, which is amazing, and I have some fun and fabulous news too. As a result, as you said, when there was a shift that happened for many people who listened, who were a part of that, I have been asked to be on the Truth Tour, which is traveling around the country. 22 cities in 31 days. Oh my goodness, I think they're on the fourth stop. They're in Albuquerque today. But I'll be speaking with this Truth Tour group in Harrisburg on the 15th and in Vegas on the 23rd, I think 24th. But I'm very excited to be part of this, and my big message to the world is you need to have tools for your sovereign spiritual self. So many people who tap in are unprotected, and they end up they regret it and they don't even know why. So tools, you've got to use your spiritual hygiene like you do, Diane. Many people get it, know it intuitively, or we learn it having been down that nasty path, and so that's I'm really excited about that.
That is exciting. Lois, is there a way we can, is it being recorded? Is there a way we can tune in to while you're on that journey?
Well, and I will have it on my website for sure. And what's going to happen next week when on my show, Lisa Schermerhorn is going to be on, and we're both going to practice our presentations on the radio show.
Oh.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So how do people get a hold of you, Diane? How can people find you?
Okay. My email. Should I post that?
No, I'll post it. I'll post it on the. So you've got your new website, right? Or is it an email, Diane?
Well, no, I don't have a website.
Okay.
I do have DianeMedium at Outlook.com.
Perfect. I'll post that on both YouTube and on the website so people can find you and reach out to you. And
because really this came on so suddenly. I do connect with them, but they came through and they're asking me to communicate messages for them.
And it's about just saying yes. And you know what, Diane? We're at the end of the hour. So thank you for being here. And thank you, listeners, for joining us. And until we see each other again and listen in next time, please look up.
Can I mention that I'm speaking at the Spiritualist Church of Love and Light?
I'll put it on there as well. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Until next time, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.